You know, you may not notice it right now, but we're in space, and oh, hi, I didn't see you there. No, I don't know who I was talking to either. So, it's time to start the final area in the game. Neo Arcadia Core, also known as Area X. Gee, I wonder how it got that name. Is it just me, or is the music really unfitting right now? I mean, we've got Seal here going all, okay, Zero, I don't care if you're not successful, just be safe. And then the music's here just going da 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 da, just like that. But luckily though, we do have a better theme. That's right, the last area in the game, of course, gets its own theme, and my god, it is probably the best one in the game. Even better than that other one that I always forget the name of, but it's the one on the train, you remember it. But anyway, super kick-ass theme, kind of weak security. I mean, Neo Arcadia Shrine had better security, and here we are in the core of the area, and just pantheons. But of course, this area is equipped with the standard Mega Man boss rush, which is in pretty much every Mega Man game, I guess, except
for Mega Man Soccer. Now, there are 8 bosses that are used and all. You can probably guess the 4 that are used later just due to their importance. Now, there are actually more than 4 just normal bosses, so, you know, we've actually got a pretty decent pool to choose from. Usually it's just, okay, all the bosses, but we don't actually fight every single one here. Now, about 3/4 of the characters here are pretty much what I think are the most memorable bosses in the game. Now, I don't know if that's because they also appear in this boss rush, but I don't know, I just like it. These guys. Like Anubis here. He's pretty neat. He's also exploding right now, which kind of deserves for killing you at one time. But this time I have the fire element, and he's weak to that because, I don't know, metal rots, right? Totally. And the other boss that's weak to fire is right next to him. That's great placement. And he thinks he's all clever, I guess. He keeps going, I did it, like garbage, blah, 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 blah. God, I'm so clever. I just insulted him for thinking he is clever and having an overinflated ego, and yet I do something dumb by running straight into his stupid icicles. Luckily, though, the joke's really on him, totally, because he's already halfway dead. He is not a difficult boss at all. Well, okay, I've been proven wrong because I fought him without fighting him with his own, and, wow, I was productive somehow. But he's still easy, I swear. Oh, I was hoping to cut him in half in midair. Man, I'm slowing the hell out of my words. I fully analyzed all your strategies, Zero. I know all of them. In fact, I've even made my own fan character. His name is, Orez. Yeah, he's tougher than you. Yeah, I've analyzed the strategies, so I make better strategies than yours. He's got a better sword with a better buster, and, he's faster and cooler, and all the ladies love him, but he is distant. And super cool, I swear. What? I don't know, I imagine that would be how Database spends his time, just thinking up of crappy fan characters. Also, no, that last hit, slicing you in half, that was for the no-hit run. This stupid fuck, keeping me there for like 40 fucking minutes. At least he's still easy. Alright, of course the last guy has to be Aztec Falcon, because he— wait, what? I still can't believe you're back already! I killed you like 12 minutes ago! Probably a little longer than that, but nonetheless, I still killed the hell out of you! Why are you alive already? It was proven that you are terrible! Proven! By science! No, seriously, I had to check out in the laboratory! The scientists said, yes, you are terrible! You should be Aztec Falcon! I mean, I don't know why I'm wishing for Aztec Falcon. Well, actually, I do sort of know why I'm wishing for him. Because honestly, I kinda wanna kick his ass with ice after what he did for me in the second mission of the game, but nonetheless, I am almost dead. That's kind of pathetic.
I wanted to slice you in half, but I almost died. Wow. Okay, note to self, never taunt anyone or think you're better than anyone, or you will get your ass kicked. Right, so there's another little segment in between the next 4 bosses, which is a little more difficult. There is a lot of enemy fire, but there is a shortcut which I will attempt to take. It is, however, very annoying to take. It's right there, and there's an enemy right there. Unfortunately, he will respawn. It's very annoying to hit him because he will rarely be on screen because the camera's terrible, and of course, everything respawns, so everything's shooting you, and I'll be right back when I actually get to it. Okay, finally did it. Okay, I probably screwed over my rank far more than I would have if I just took the normal way. In fact, I'd probably be here by now. Probably wouldn't get hit by that guy, but regardless, we are at the second set of bosses. And can you guess who the guys here
are? That's right, the Guardians. I mean, who else would it be? And now we get to see how easy Hypera is, with his weakness. Even though he was extremely easy and you could get him into a pattern before, you can get him into a pattern even easier now. You might escape it from time to time, but if you're really good, you should be able to take care of him without a problem. Despite the fact that he is pretty much the easiest of the 4 Guardians other than Phantom, maybe. They're all easy if you have a weakness, but whatever. He's actually my favorite because he looks cool, and also he's pretty much got the most personality of the 4 Guardians, most character development. He's got 2 swords. Rules of anime say, if you have 2 swords, you're automatically considered badass. I mean, 1 sword, you're already badass, but 2 swords! 2 swords! My god, your badassness is unparalleled. However, despite my opinion of him, Hypera is still very, very easy, unless you have his X attack, in which case this will take longer than it should have. Because he's completely invincible when he's doing his X attack. Isn't that just so freaking delightful? I just love the X attacks, and how bosses are just completely invincible, except for Leviathan. She's only invincible for a moment. She does not slow the battle down all that much, and I thank her for that. Next off, gee, I wonder who it is. I equipped the electricity element. Who could... Oh, it's Vector. You know, you wouldn't think a boss like him would go hee 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 at the start of the battle. I mean, look at that. He's combined two guns into one sort of gigantic gun claw. You know, it might seem strange that, you know, his name has Vector in it, even though Hyper's my favorite guardian, but I just chose this guy because, you know, I thought it had a better ring, to be honest. It sounded cool and all that. And that's how you choose usernames on the internet. Oh, unfortunately, I don't have much numbers, which is too bad, but, yeah. Wow, you went down easily. I didn't even get to compliment you, man. I was gonna say, but despite the fact that you're not my favorite, you're still pretty cool. Although he's not fighting on. I mean, I don't care if he can't feel his leg. Come on, man, you're a fighter. You can fight on, even with a broken leg. It doesn't matter. Keep on going, man. Keep on going. Alright, it's Leviathan. She is also very, very easy. And even when you don't have her elements and you're not using it against her, she's definitely easier than Fethner, I can say that. And I'd say she's probably the second most difficult, just for the fact that she actually proves some sort of challenge. Because Phantom and Hypera, for me, they go down so very easily. And again, Leviathan, very easy with elements, and she's definitely very patterned, actually. But, nonetheless, she can't pose a challenge, especially if you run straight into her knees. That's kind of a dumb move, don't do that. See, it only takes a single second for her to do that. Thank you, Leviathan, you're nice. Oh, how romantic. She is going to personally murder me. So sweet. Anyway, I'm gonna equip electricity for no real reason, other than the fact that I like having electricity on. I don't know why. But of course, Phantom is the last boss of the 4 Guardians. Well, he could be the first or second or third, but I chose fight last for no particular reason, certainly not. Anyway, Phantom, easy as always, he's ninja. Kick his ass. You know, no matter how many times I dodge that attack, I still feel like a badass. Seriously, jump over it, run under it. It is awesome. And I'm surprised it is... Wow, I'm surprised at that jump attack. He's just spamming his fucking shuriken move! Jesus Christ, dude, do something else! Okay, there. That dash move. I'm surprised it's so easy to dodge because it seems like it's kind of spontaneous, but I don't know, I just find it predictable. And of course he gets his X attack off. That's exactly like all those wily UFO fights. Exactly like them, except not really though. Hey, if only I had beat for this. Please don't use that a second time.
Thank you, maybe. Oh, yep. He's going down. Whoa, dude, are you okay? You look like you're having a seizure. Do you need my help? Yeah, remember when I said he likes explosions? Well, he has become an explosion. I've tested it, and if you stand next to him, it will kill you, or maybe just do damage. I think I was low on health in that fight, but yeah, he can actually kill you. I could have sworn for the longest time that he couldn't, and that was basically just the most pathetic take-you-with-me attempt ever, but he can potentially kill you, so I guess it's not completely pitiful, but it's still very easy to avoid. You just have to be on the other end of the screen. If he's in the center, you just have to dodge a few puffs of smoke, but it's still not that bad, really. Just don't be very close to the exploding man, even though you've survived countless explosions. But anyway, yep, that's the last of the bosses done, and unless, you know, what's-his-face, Aztec Falcon just decides to come out of nowhere and try to kill me, I think we're pretty much there. Of course, the Guardians are still alive, so they could try to mess with us, but we've pretty much kicked the crap out of them, so I wouldn't say they'd be much of an interference. Okay, so we're pretty much there. If you need to grind up life on these guys, trust me, be at full health when you get here. Also, you know what? Screw that guy. You get to live to tell the tale, dude. You're lucky. But yes, trust me, be at full life. Oh crap. Okay, I didn't think all 3 of you would be here. And no one really mentions Phantom. I guess no one liked him, even though we just murdered him. I don't know, they could probably do some damage. The person who made that Mega Man 2 little game thing where you fight all the Robot Masters at the same time, make a version where you fight all the Guardians at once. That'd be neat. Oh shit, son! Zero totally dissed your society utopia thing. call it a joke. Oh man, that's the worst insult possible. Alright, Copy X bases his standard battle form off the ultimate form of X from, well, the Mega Man X series. Now, of course, he has 4 variations: normal, fire, electricity, and ice. Each of these forms has its own attack and a charged attack. However, the charged attack can actually be cancelled. Of his normal shots, I'd actually say the electricity and ice attacks are his most threatening, and of his charged attacks, I would say the fire one is the one you should look out for. Now, try to keep on the same screen as him at all times, because you don't want to be pegged by him from off-screen. That would suck. Speaking of suck, that's his X attack. He heals himself, which is kinda cheap. However, he can only use it once, and it can be cancelled. However, I just didn't get the timing right there, unfortunately. This form isn't actually too bad to take down. However, make sure to not get hit too much, or you will be in trouble. Sorry, gotta rest over here. There's a really comfortable spot for my fist. Oh boy. This is gonna be harder than a monkey, isn't it? What is it with Capcom and angelic final bosses? I really seem to like those for some reason. Alright, this is Angel X. He's got about 3 attacks. Of course, he's got a 4th if he has his X attack. That Halo attack won't hurt you, however, it will lock you in place and you'll have to escape it. And it will leave you open for another attack, and if he uses it when you're over a pit, you're as good as dead. He will use it after every 2 of his other attacks, like this laser attack. When he uses his laser attack, make sure to at least be heading for the wall. If you're in the center of the arena, he will hit you because it's really hard to dodge at that point. His other attack, the fire attack, is pretty easy to dodge, however it does do the most damage of all his attacks. So don't misjudge any timing and go down early or you will be hurting. Now, once you drain about half his first life bar, he will replace his normal Halo attack with his X attack. Now, that attack can be difficult to dodge. Once you get used to it, it's not too bad. Just make sure to keep moving when he's using it. Now, as I'm sure you've noticed, I'm using the Buster for this guy. I wouldn't suggest using either of the melee weapons, and probably not the shield boomerang, though I haven't really tried that one. I just think it would be unwieldy. Now, there are quite a few droughts between, when you can actually attack him, and honestly, I think it's easiest to attack him with a Buster, because he might be floating too high when you can't hit him with a Z-Saber, and if you try to jump at him, you might hit his hands while trying to hit him, which would not be good. You don't want to get any damage racked up on this guy, because, trust me, one mistake will probably lead to another. It's happened to me many a times. Though, I must admit, despite the small area, honestly, I don't really feel anything's cheap. Like, all his attacks don't seem too difficult to dodge, so whenever I get hit, I feel it's my fault, so it's not too bad, but at the same time, of course, you don't want to get hit because, again, one thing leads to another, and the more damage you get, the more nervous you are, because this battle can go on for a while, and I must admit, by this point my hands were shaking pretty hard, because I was just going on for so long, and I'd tried this so many times. And honestly, the thing about Copy X, or Angel X I suppose, is he's not necessarily the most difficult boss, especially if you tank him. But if you don't upgrade yourself, he will be difficult, because you pretty much have no lenience whatsoever. You can't get hit all that much in his first form, and by the way, if you die, you do have to fight that form again. And, of course, you can't take too many hits here. Don't make mistakes, because that would be bad. Again, it's not too bad, just make sure to watch out, be patient, don't get too nervous. Also, just a quick little thing about his fire attack. You see the way he uses his laser, not that laser, but when he uses the fire attack, it actually kind of leads you to the pillar you should go to, so that is a pretty good cue if you have good reaction time to go over to one of the pillars, Though then again, if you're that good at reading cues, you might not need it in the first place. And see what I mean? I haven't hit him in ages because he just keeps spamming his laser attack. I really don't care for when he does that. And again, don't care for when he spams this, because, you know, it takes a lot longer than just 3 halos. And of course, I always panic and then accidentally, you know, get hit because I'm dumb. So don't stay in place and you should be fine, and don't panic, and this shouldn't be too terrible. I still say that Sarah is a harder boss than you. Wow, that is mildly creepy. Very mildly creepy. Wait. You mean Original X? The guy who refused to fight and then started fighting again once you rescued a certain amount of soldiers for no real reason? Oh, whatever. He's got his reasons. And like Phantom X is just gonna kinda be a jerk and try to take us out with him. How lovely. Well, I'm sure it's built so this won't affect any humans or anything. But you're still a terrible ruler! Bolivian army rule subverted. And with a rather mediocre song and possibly one of the slowest Reddit rolls I've ever seen, that is the end of Mega Man Zero. Now, it's definitely the weakest of the 4 games, but I still like it. I think it's a pretty good game. And I must admit, I do kind of like the mission structure. In the later games, it is more of a standard Mega Man game. You know, you just have, 8 areas, each one has its boss, yada yada yada. And I can understand how people would dislike this game, because, you go to the factory twice, you go to the desert like 5 times. So I could see how people would think it would get repetitive, but I still like it. I guess partially because I really like the areas? I don't know. Even though there's not much explanation about it, I think that's what I like. It's just, it feels like there should be some explanation, but the areas are just named like, oh, it's a desert, and oh, look, abandoned city, oh, look, subway. I do kind of wish they would, give a little more explanation of the area we're in. I mean, they didn't even do that in the Complete Works, which is kind of supposed to, go over in detail a bunch of stuff in this series. I do kind of like the little overworld they have, though I guess, if you really want an expansion on that, then you have the Mega Man ZX games, but let's not get into that. But that's another thing about this game, is that the story is less present, we'll say. It's a hell of a lot less well written or translated, and again, the story just doesn't have much presence, which the later games aren't necessarily story heavy, but they're definitely a bit more plot centric. This game does kind of seem like an experiment, strangely enough. I guess story-wise, because, again, not a very powerful story, and despite the fact that, I'm pretty sure this was planned, because the ending of X5 sort of led into the Zero before it was, changed for X6, but Pretty sure Inafune did have plans for it, but it just didn't really seem like they put their all into it. But of course we have 2, 3, and 4 to make up for that, so even if it is an experiment, it worked out rather well, I'd say. I'd say the biggest problem is probably Ugu. What sort of name's that? Anyway, the biggest problem is probably the overuse of Cyber Elves. I mean, I don't have a problem with Cyber Elves, but do they really have to be every last upgrade, including all 4 sub-tanks? I mean, I really like how they changed that for 2 and 3, how they actually, give you 2 sub-tanks without, having to resort to fairy use for those. Because honestly, again, it doesn't really catch up to you until the very end when you fight Copy X, but you're pretty crippled without any sort of item. You can't tank anything, and that last fucking boss, man. Without any Cyber Elves, you're in trouble. And of course I can't use any Cyber Elves, because then I kind of screw myself out of a little something and that'll be showing off later. Not for a while though, because you actually have to upgrade all your Cyber Elves first, which, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Can't wait for that. It probably will be a while before I continue this, but eventually there will be a few probably just one bonus part, where I will show off all the other stuff you can do in this game, and yeah, that seems about right. I don't know how the hell I kept my A rank, but sure, whatever you say, game. But yep, that just about wraps it up for Zero. Before we end this off, it'll ask if we want... Oh, first it'll say we can play hard mode. No way in hell am I going to do that. But it'll ask us if we want to save our game, and we actually get a new game plus, which is kind of neat. We get to keep all our Cyber Elves and stuff like that, but we don't keep weapon levels, which is kind of the thing I would want to keep, to be completely honest, but whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna save that in a file, different file, just in case I feel like grinding on my first file. But anyway, you'll start at the beginning of the game, yada yada yada. But yep, that's just about it for Mega Man Zero. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for whatever I do next, and that is still a terrible outro. Expect the bonus part in like half a year when I actually feel like grinding. Ugh.